What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So as you can tell by the title, this is kind of a continuation of yesterday's video, Lorenzo's absolutely mind-boggling comments on the G.I. Joe and Transformers movie actually not being a collab, and him just going on about how it's hard to fit these characters together, which I went on a rant in that video yesterday that it really isn't, and it's pretty obvious how you could fit the two characters together. So it just sounds like a big dupe, and it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid how he sounds. But what I want to talk about here is how Hasbro just needs to sell the rights of Transformers to a different film company or studio, whatever you want to call Paramount. I don't know who they could sell it to, honestly. There's a lot of options out there. There's a weird one that just popped into my mind, maybe A24. I don't know. I mean, they've made some pretty cool and creative movies over the last 10-15 years. Universal, Disney, even though I know when I mention Disney, a lot of people go crazy because there's people that are against, the politics and whatnot, but that's a topic for a whole nother video, in my opinion, on that stuff, because I really don't agree with that argument. It's just such a weird situation we're in with Transformers films at this point, where Rise of the Beast was kind of good, but kind of to the point where it's like, these problems again. I thought we were going to move past these issues, but we're not. And Stephen Caple Jr., he seems so passionate about Transformers and really recapturing some of the moments in the franchise that have been lost over time. So I was really excited to see him come back for this sequel and see what he would actually add to his second go-around at directing a Transformers movie. And now to see him supposedly leaving the project because of Lorenzo being a total douchebag and being absolutely racist towards him during an argument, that is not okay. That was like, when I heard that stuff about Lorenzo a couple weeks ago, I already hated the guy because of his previous comments and just him flat out lying about the development of past Transformers movies. But that just took the cake for me. That guy is absolute trash. He is super unprofessional. He needs to leave immediately. They gotta fire him. He does not know how to handle these characters, and to a further extent, G.I. Joe. Look at how G.I. Joe has been handled with Paramount over the last 20 years. Rise of Cobra was pretty mediocre, even though it had some decent action. Then they had trouble releasing the sequel. It got delayed a year, if you guys remember G.I. Joe Retaliation. It came out in 2013. It was originally supposed to come out in 2012. That was a total mess in production, and that didn't do well. Even though it was a slight improvement over the first movie, still nothing crazy. And then over the last 10 years since Retaliation released, it's been this weird back and forth between studios and Lorenzo and Hasbro on how to make a G.I. Joe movie. And then we got the Snake Eyes spinoff a few years ago in 2021, and that was absolutely horrendous. And it did horrible at the box office, the worst performing G.I. Joe movie to date. It did worse than the last two. So, and then they're trying to get off the ground a standalone G.I. Joe movie after the Snake Eyes bomb a few years ago, and who knows how good that's going to turn out, if they're even going to be able to get that movie off the ground in the first place, but because of the track record of the previous three movies not doing good to begin with. And then you look at Transformers, first three movies, absolute massive success. Fourth movie, not as big of a success as the previous three, but still a pretty good success. And then The Last Night is where all the problems started. It lost money for Paramount, did horrible. Bumblebee movie, it was only a profit because of how small the budget was, even though it was a pretty big improvement in terms of pacing and story-wise and characters, but still kind of a boring movie for a Transformers entry, honestly. And then we get Rise of the Beast 5 years later, and it was decent, but it still still had problems, and it kind of underperformed at the box office. It didn't really do too great. And now here we are with the crossover movie. You want to bring in G.I. Joe, even though Paramount has handled that horribly. And you want to continue with the Transformers franchise, which still can be saved. That's the problem here. I don't get how Paramount doesn't realize that this, like, you have to save these Transformers movies. This is not something where you could just piss out another movie and hope it does well. You know, you have to put your all into this next live action film, because honestly, it's riding on whether or not this movie does well in the box office for us to continue getting Transformers movies. And if it doesn't do well and it's actually a terrible movie, not just talking about box office numbers, but actually the quality of the film, if it's bad, we're probably not going to be seeing a Transformers movie for a long time, at least 10 years, I'd say, if this movie does bad, or maybe even does just as good as Rise of the Beast. We might not even see another Transformers movie for, I don't know, I wouldn't say 10 years if it does the same amount as Rise of the Beast, but maybe like 7 years, close to 10 years. I don't know what Hasbro or Paramount's game plan is. I don't think Hasbro would even leave the Transformers movie rights to Paramount if this upcoming movie does bad again. So, I don't know, guys. I just think we need people in charge with the Transformers movie stuff that actually cares. We're seeing this kind of with Transformers 1, even though that's got Lorenzo attached. That movie is said to be the best Transformers movie Paramount has produced. And you could see the truth in that because of them doing early test screenings with fans a month, 2 months before release. We're getting all these exclusive events and test screenings with critics absolutely loving the movie, saying how great it is, the characters, the story, the animation being top notch, and the director, Josh Cooley, actually caring about these characters and being a director with control over his vision. That is something that we need to continue to have. More instances like Josh Cooley, who's a fan and seems to have more control over the movie he's actually directing. More instances that we're actually going to get a good Transformers movie. And you look at the 2007 film, I think Michael Bay had more control over that, and that turned out to be a pretty great movie. Knock on wood, some people don't like that movie. I know a lot of people do like it. It's just your personal preference. And then you look at the sequels, it seems like there was studio meddling, producer meddling, to make the movie more big and grand, to get more butts in the seats. Who knows what the story was behind that? I don't know for sure. I'm kind of just speculating here. What I'm trying to get at here is just, getting directors in place that are fans, which we've pretty much gotten the past couple entries with Josh Cooley, Capel Jr., and Travis Knight, but just leaving them in control of their vision when you have a fan in charge working on these movies. Don't meddle with it. Just let them do their thing, because we're seeing this with Transformers 1, and we kind of saw it with Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast. You get a product that has some sort of care to it that fans are going to appreciate. And I'm pretty sure this Transformers 1 movie is going to be fantastic. So hopefully they learn their lessons from Transformers 1 and they get people on board that actually care about the franchise, and they let them do their thing to at least some extent. I mean, there's obviously going to be some studio meddling, no matter what movie it is, but not to the point where it impacts the quality of the film. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about in this video, guys. Either sell the rights to some other studio, Hasbro, or just get people in charge that are more competent and know what they're doing with these characters. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below. How do y'all feel about the current situation with the Transformers movie franchise? All my social medias are linked down below. My email is also linked down below if y'all want to hit me up about business inquiries, or if you want to message me about whatever, or if you want to subscribe to my new Patreon link down below. It's got tons of exclusive content that I won't see here on YouTube or anywhere else, such as exclusive stop motions, Transformers photography. You guys get 1 week access before everybody else here on YouTube to my stop motion films, exclusive music and music snippets from my films. So if you guys want to help support me and help support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye!